Okay, just quickly before we get started on the sideline work, I want to just do 2 exercises laying on your back that I forgot to include or forgot to film. So it's just one's a progression and one's a regression. Starting with the regression,
If you're unable to do a teaser,
like so, you can do a more limited range of motion ab crunch, whereby you don't try to roll all the way up,
you just come into here.
so it's a lesser range, still engaging those abs.
You're going to do 20 of them and then 20 side flexes from the static. So you're going to hold the static crunch position and then side flex right and left. When I say 20, I mean 10 times towards the right, 10 times towards the left, all in that upper crunch position, so your abs are switched on. Legs stay down.
It's a bit easier than your teaser. You can throw them in as an addition, or you can do it as a regression if you're not really able to get the benefits from the actual teasers. Now the other one was to get a calf muscle strengthening added to the glute bridge. And seeing as we train the bigger muscle, which is a 2-joint muscle that dominates over the deeper soleus muscle in the calf, when we're doing our standing heel raises, double leg or single leg, this one is going to have the knee bent, which slackens that larger muscle, puts the emphasis and the bias on the smaller muscle, which is quite important if you're a runner, because it's a bit of a shock absorber. It takes the impact and springs you off a little bit. So to do that, bridge up as normal and pause, and then you can add heel raises. You can do continuous reps of heel raises from here,
Or if you want to do more glute bridge up and down work,
you can bridge down, bridge up,
and finish each rep with a heel raise. A little addition. Equally, you can do that with the single leg.
so you can bridge up, hop onto your single leg, heel raise from there. Again, with repetitions, you can go back to the 2 bridge down, up, repeat as if every rep was the first rep, or you can do a down, up,
heel raise, single leg.
up to you. Anyway, let's move on to the sideline work, and we're going to start with a very classic exercise, the clam. So looking at alignment, you want your heels in contact, your ankle should line up with your hip, which should line up with your shoulder, roughly speaking. To perform the clam, you're looking to not let your pelvis to roll back. Think about that bone on your pelvis, that ASIS. If there was a flashlight on there or a torch, it would be projecting a light there, and that really wouldn't move. I like to have my hand on here so I can feel it, or my hand in the glute medius position so I can feel what muscles activating, and I'm not just using the tension of my ITV. So nice and lined up, you can lay down, you can sit like this, whatever really feels comfortable. Just make sure you don't get the motion from rolling your lumbar spine and your pelvis. So it's up from here, engage the glute med, and down. Important to get a couple second hold at this point, because the glute medius function really works isometrically, so it's not really a concentric. So as it contracts, but it doesn't really change length. So you're not often doing that against gravity or against resistance. Really, it's working to stabilize the knee, to stabilize other joints. If you happen to have access to a TheraBand, feel free to tie just above your knees onto your thighs, so that when you do your clam, there's a bit of tension from the band pulling down, adding to the demands on the glute med. And you're looking to do 3-second holds in that top position with the TheraBand on. We're going to do 20 of those, then you're going to switch onto the other side and do another 20 for symmetry. From there, we're going to go into our side plank. Now, most basic form of the side plank is to be knee to knee in contact. Try to keep yourself well aligned, so don't let your bottom scoot backwards. You're lifting your hips directly upwards, not up with a bottom sticking out. That's letting other muscles do the work. We want the obliques engaged here, so you're up and you're pausing. Looking to do 30-second holds, 3 sets of those. Then we're going to dip down and up 10 times. If you're able to, you're going to do all this with a longer lever. Same with the dips. Get 10 dips each side, be that all 10 with the long lever, full side plank, or as many as you can of those, finishing with the half planks, but make sure you're symmetrical. Then we're going to go into some adduction work. So lay on your side, you're going to bring your top leg over that one, hips should be pointing upwards. You're working the inner thigh muscles and the groin muscles in your leg that's on the ground. So you're just lifting up and down. Quite a simple movement, just the weight of your leg against gravity. So those muscles in your inner thigh, muscles up in your groin are working a little bit. It's a bit easy, it's hard to load. If you happen to have ankle weights, you can use those. If you do have a TheraBand, again, you can tie them around your ankle. Keep them here. So this one then comes behind, so as you lift up, it's difficult not to bend the knee or not to compensate for your hips. Play around with it, but don't worry too much. Sideline abduction circuit, quite a familiar one from Pilates classes. Straight leg lying down. Again, you can add a TheraBand to this, but I don't necessarily recommend it. It's tough enough just with gravity. So you lift it up and down for 10 reps. If you want to increase that, you're going to turn the foot downwards so you're leading the movement with the hip, within the heel, sorry. Again, making sure your pelvis is nice and aligned, your abs are engaged. Shoulders, hips, knees and ankles should all be in line. You're not dipping back here. And as you come up, you're certainly not rolling. So 10 of those. Then you're going to come forward and backwards for 10. So those 10 mini circles clockwise, 10 mini circles anti-clockwise. Boom, finish that side, onto the other side. Okay, and that's all the side lying work for now.